every man plays his own role, and everything starts with the leader. All of us get along with money. We had money, we been had money.
People was always saying that Justin looked just like Anthony Wolf Jones. Anthony Wolf Jones' mother came and told me the same thing.
I just want our legacy to be, that we stood for something positive, we made a change, and impacted the culture.
Did Diddy really pay millions to take out Anthony Wolf Jones, his own bodyguard and childhood friend, and is Justin Combs' real father tied into this deadly tale?
That Puff told Meech, go ahead and do what you gotta do, when him and Wolf and them was beefing outside.
Wolf wasn't just any bodyguard. He was Diddy's most trusted ally. But when he turned up dead, rumors spread fast. Whispers that Diddy owed him big, that their friendship was hanging by a thread, and that maybe, just maybe, Diddy wanted him out of the picture.
BMF was there, Wolf was there, an argument happened over a girl that I guess Wolf was dating and was hanging out with Big Meech and them.
And she was hanging out with another guy that was just hanging out in the crew.
On that fateful night in Atlanta's Club Chaos, Wolf went up against the Black Mafia family, but was it really just a scuffle? Or was this hit orchestrated by someone much closer to him?
He told Wolf he didn't need Wolf no more. He said, I don't need you no more. And he said Meech told him, that he didn't need Wolf no more.
What if Wolf's downfall wasn't just about BMF? Could it have been the secrets he held about Diddy? Secrets too explosive to be left alone? Wolf knew every corner of Diddy's dark side, and as the tension built, it's said he was just one conversation away from blowing it all open. Did Diddy really push his friend into the line of fire that night? Anthony Jones, known as Wolf to his friends, was born on February 20th, 1965, in the Bronx, New York.
But Wolf was a boss. You understand? Wolf just wasn't no security type dude. Wolf had admirations to do things bigger and better.
Raised by his mother, Barbara Jones, Wolf didn't exactly have it easy. His father wasn't in the picture, but Barbara did everything she could, juggling work as a teacher to give Wolf and his two younger brothers a good start. She even went the extra mile, sending them to private school during the week and homeschooling them on weekends. Yet they still lived in the Valley, a part of the Bronx that taught Wolf survival, toughness, and street smarts. His nickname, Wolf, actually has an unexpected origin story. As a kid, his friends Troy and Tammy used to tease him, calling him Wolf because of his resemblance to Eddie Munster from the Munsters TV show. It was a name born from laughter, but as he got older, Wolf became a title of respect on the streets. Even as a young man, Wolf was serious about his education. He graduated from Harry S. Truman High School in 1983 and enrolled at Bronx Community College. Wolf even worked at the U.S. Postal Service and in construction to make ends meet. But if there's one thing you learn in neighborhoods like his, it's that a 9-to-5 doesn't always pay the bills. So despite his best efforts, Wolf found himself back in the streets alongside his crew known as the Valley Mob. The streets were harsh, and Wolf soon found himself facing an attempted murder charge after a violent clash with a rival crew in the early 90s. He ended up in prison, and this too shaped him. Wolf only served a few years, and by the time he was released in early 1993, Puffy was building a name for himself in the music world. Even before Wolf went away, he and Puffy had crossed paths, but now Puffy was serious about his career. Puffy at that time was working under Andre Harrell at Uptown Records. Projects like Jodeci's Forever My Lady and Mary J. Blige's What's the 411 had his touch all over them. But Puffy's ambition was clear. He wasn't content to be someone else's assistant. In early 1993, Puff found himself jobless. Andre Harrell had fired him from Uptown Records, reportedly due to Puffy's rebellious ideas and clash with the Uptown leadership style. The firing hit Puffy hard. He spiraled into doubt about his future, unsure if he'd make it in the music industry at all. Fortunately, he had friends and supporters who helped him get by financially as he regrouped, re-envisioning his dream. And while he had some support, he still needed serious funding to back his vision for Bad Boy Records. This is where Wolf and his connections would come into play. After his release, Wolf teamed up with two close friends, Buck and Elle, to start a party promotion business, cleverly named Butt Naked. They hosted events up and down the East Coast, including at Howard University in D.C., where Puffy himself had once attended college. But as many speculated, this was just the surface business. The real money was in something a bit riskier: COC distribution. With their newfound success and earnings, Wolf and his crew decided to take a chance on Puffy. They poured hundreds of thousands into Bad Boy Records, funding the very beginnings of the label that would soon explode onto the hip-hop scene.
Definition of half man, half ass the clubs. Bad boy, that's what's up.
It wasn't just the money that made Wolf valuable to Puffy. It was his loyalty, his street credibility, and his protective nature. Wolf wasn't just another employee. He was someone who had Puffy's back in a way that few others could. He was soon made the head of security at Bad Boy, but he was more than that. Wolf was the enforcer, the muscle, the one who could handle the grittier side of the business. And with the rise of Bad Boy, there would be plenty of times when that grit would be needed. Bad Boy took off in a big way. The label's first major releases, like Craig Mack's Flava in Ya Ear and Biggie's Ready to Die, were immediate hits. Puffy signed a huge distribution deal with Clive Davis and Arista Records in 1994, officially establishing Bad Boy as a force in the industry. Behind the scenes, Wolf was the loyal right-hand man, watching Puff's back and handling any threats that came their way. Things really started to heat up on November 30th, 1994, when Tupac Shakur was ambushed in the lobby of Quad City Studios in Manhattan. It was a brutal attack. Tupac was shot 5 times by 3 armed men. Many believe that the setup was orchestrated by Jimmy Henchman and a well-known Brooklyn figure, Haitian Jack. Tupac, who was friendly with both Biggie and Puffy, felt betrayed by their lack of warning or support after the attack. He was convinced they knew about the ambush and had said nothing. This event would mark the beginning of a bitter rivalry, one that would grow into a war between East Coast and West Coast rap, with Puffy and Bad Boy at the heart of it all. Tupac publicly accused Puff and Biggie of betrayal, claiming they had abandoned him when he needed them most. He even went so far as to warn Biggie against trusting Puffy, a piece of advice that would plant seeds of doubt within the Bad Boy camp. As tensions mounted, Tupac was arrested, convicted, and sentenced to prison time. While in jail, he vowed revenge on everyone he felt had betrayed him, especially those affiliated with Bad Boy. But the street stories, the grudges, and the high-stakes world of hip-hop had a dark underbelly. Wolf continued to be by Puffy's side, but the risks kept getting bigger. When Tupac got out of jail and aligned himself with Suge Knight at Death Row Records, the feud between East and West, between Tupac and Biggie, only intensified.
When they said that, they breathed new life in me. And Thug Life not only became a rap group, but it became a way of life for life for me. Because they disrespected me, my name, my family.
In the 1990s, the East Coast-West Coast hip-hop rivalry took a dangerous turn, with some of the most powerful names in the music industry caught in the middle. Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls may have been the main faces of the feud, but behind the scenes, 2 record label moguls were fueling it. Sean Puffy Combs, CEO of Bad Boy Records, and Suge Knight, CEO of Death Row Records. What many don't know is that the two were actually friendly at one point, thanks to a man named Anthony Wolf Jones. Wolf was connected to both Puff and Suge and introduced them at New York's iconic Tunnel Club. For a while, things were good between them. Suge would even pick Puff up from the airport whenever he visited Los Angeles. But, as often happens in the music industry, the friendship didn't last. Business, money, and personal rivalries soon got in the way, and before long, Puff and Suge's relationship began to sour. The tension between the two really exploded at the 1995 Source Awards. The night was a big one for Puff's artist Biggie Smalls, who took home several awards, and emotions were high. When Suge took the stage, he threw a jab that many saw as directed at Puff.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
Suge's words escalated the tension not just between Puff and Suge, but between the East Coast and West Coast artists in general. Puff later claimed the insult wasn't aimed at him, saying Suge was actually targeting another producer, Jermaine Dupri. Still, the message was clear to everyone in the industry. The rivalry was only heating up. The feud turned violent just a month later, in September 1995, at Jermaine Dupri's birthday party in Atlanta, where Puff and Suge both showed up. Things got tense that night after Suge allegedly slapped Jermaine Dupri in a club, then confronted Puff over money he claimed was owed. They argued and fought, but the real tragedy happened soon after. Suge's bodyguard, Jake Robles, was fatally shot in the parking lot. Witnesses claim that in the chaos, Suge even used Puff as a human shield. Jake's death fueled the rivalry further, marking a deadly turning point between Death Row and Bad Boy. Wolf, who was Puff's closest friend and bodyguard, warned Puff about the growing dangers. After Tupac's death in 1996, tensions were at an all-time high, and Wolf urged Puff to take extra precautions, especially as threats against Bad Boy increased. But when Biggie's Life After Death tour was scheduled, Puff decided to bring Biggie to Los Angeles in February 1997. Despite Wolf's warnings about potential dangers in LA, Wolf had a bad feeling about the trip, but Biggie wanted to promote his album, and Puff pushed forward with the plans. Tragically, on March 9, 1997, after attending a Vibe magazine after-party, Biggie was shot and killed in Los Angeles. Wolf, who had feared this outcome, was devastated. The loss put a serious strain on his relationship with Puff, who he felt hadn't taken the necessary steps to protect Biggie. Despite their tension, Wolf stuck by Puff and continued to support Bad Boy Records as it became one of the most successful labels of the late 90s. Bad Boy was pumping out hit after hit, and Puff's empire grew beyond music. He expanded into business ventures, made new connections in Atlanta, and crossed paths with one of the most infamous criminal organizations of the time, the Black Mafia family, or BMF. Wolf's connections to the streets helped open doors for Puff in Atlanta, especially with BMF's co-founder, Big Meech.
It's from somewhere else different. You don't get nothing like this nowhere. Everybody move like brothers, and then everybody from different places.
In Atlanta, Puff and Wolf found themselves getting tangled up in new alliances. While the connections brought more power and influence, they also brought more risks. Around this time, Puff began a relationship with Jennifer Lopez, and trouble wasn't far behind. An altercation at a New York City nightclub led to a shooting with bystanders injured. Wolf faced possible life imprisonment due to his past criminal record. But Puff managed to avoid charges, shifting the blame to his artist Jamal "Shine" Barrow, who was a rising star on the Bad Boy label. As Shine awaited trial, Puff distanced himself from him, refusing to help pay for his legal defense.
Obviously, he was the uber star, and I was just up and coming, so, yeah, it's gonna be a show. But he used that to just threw me off.
For many, this was a shocking move, especially for Wolf, who had been loyal to Puff through countless battles. When Shine released the music video for his hit song, Bad Boys, Puff was nowhere to be seen. Instead, Wolf was there, standing by Shine. This caused tension between Wolf and Puff, as Wolf saw Puff's treatment of Shine as a betrayal, deepening his doubts about their partnership. Following Shine's conviction, Wolf began to see a different side of Puff. He started exploring other opportunities, realizing it might be time to move on from Bad Boy and try something new. At a birthday party hosted by Jennifer Lopez for Puff at Miami's Club 312, Wolf met Mike Sally, the brother of former NBA player John Sally. They discussed the idea of going into business together and even considered buying the club. With this new opportunity in sight, Wolf asked Puff to cash out his original $300,000 investment in Bad Boy, which he had put up years earlier to help launch the label. Puff, however, stalled on repaying him, leaving Wolf frustrated. Puff's hesitation to return the money prevented the business deal with Mike Sally from happening, further straining their friendship. To Wolf, it felt like Puff was prioritizing his own empire building over loyalty to the people who had stood by him from the beginning.
It's interesting in the Wolf case because your friends will push you further than your enemies at points because they won't see how far they're going.
By late 2002, tensions between Wolf and Puff reached a boiling point. Wolf aggressively confronted Puff about the money at the Bad Boy offices, and things nearly turned physical. According to another one of Puff's bodyguards, Puff told Wolf he no longer needed his protection because he had Big Meech and BMF backing him. Wolf felt disposable, but he still maintained ties with Southwest T, another BMF member. In any case, from the early days of Bad Boy to the explosive feud with Death Row Records, Wolf was known for doing Diddy's dirty work. As a protector and enforcer, he had a reputation in the industry. Fearless, loyal, and sometimes deadly. But by the time he was shot in 2003, his life was far more complicated than just loyalty. He had connections to BMF, a group led by the notorious Big Meech. And here's where it gets murky. Friends say he was stuck in the middle between Diddy and BMF, and rumors started to swirl. Had his loyalty to Diddy come with a price? The Black Mafia family, led by Demetrius Big Meech Flannery, was a name that struck fear across Atlanta's underworld. Known for drug tea-ficking and an influence that spread from the streets to high society, BMF was respected and feared.
Eventually, have to have a bond hearing. There were cameras everywhere. It was a scene.
Wolf's connection to BMF was complex. As a bodyguard and friend of Diddy, he was associated with some of the biggest players in the hip-hop world. But his relationship with Big Meech grew sour. Reports hint at betrayals, money owed, and even a mutual disdain that threatened to explode. According to insiders, Wolf and Big Meech started as allies. But as BMF's influence grew, so did tensions. Diddy and Wolf both had reputations that clashed with BMF's ambitions. And before long, Wolf became a liability. In October 2003, Wolf threw a party at his Atlanta home, attended by BMF members, including Meech and Terry. He even vouched for an old Brooklyn shooter friend to join BMF, which led to tragic consequences. On November 11, 2003, at Club Chaos in Buckhead, Wolf and his right-hand man, Lamont Rez Gertie, crossed paths with Meech and other BMF members. Tensions rose over a woman Wolf was involved with, leading to a fight and their ejection from the club. Outside, Wolf and Rez confronted Meech and another BMF member, and a gunfight ensued. Initially, Wolf and Rez had the upper hand, but their old Brooklyn friend, now part of BMF, turned on them, seeking to prove his loyalty to Meech. He gunned down Wolf and Rez, killing them both on the spot. The story of that night is where the controversies begin.
I think Wolf and his cousin left out, and when they came outside, they said he got the shooting, and unfortunately, he lost his life.
Some believe this fight was simply a culmination of beef between BMF and Wolf, but others suggest that Wolf might have been targeted by someone much closer to home. Could Diddy have been the one pulling the strings that night? In the days following Wolf's death, rumors swirled that Diddy might have played a part. Insiders claim that Diddy had reasons to get rid of Wolf, and money was a factor. Allegedly, Diddy owed Wolf a significant sum, money that could have been life-changing if Wolf had decided to expose what he knew. But it wasn't just about money. Wolf was one of the few who knew Diddy's secrets, including alleged shady dealings that Diddy had spent years keeping under wraps. As a longtime confidant, Wolf was close to the truth, too close. Was this enough to set Wolf up, or was it simply about self-preservation? Some say Diddy orchestrated the events, knowing BMF and Wolf were already on edge, hoping to push Wolf into a confrontation he couldn't escape. Meanwhile, Wolf's mother spoke out, revealing that Puff paid for Wolf's funeral but treated her son as if he barely knew him. She pressed Puff about the $300,000 he owed Wolf, but Puff dismissed it, claiming Wolf had delusions of grandeur. Wolf left behind 5 children, and rumors persisted that he was the real father of Puff's first son, Justin Combs. In fact, in the year of Wolf's passing, Justin, Misa's son, was merely 10 years old. Surprisingly, Diddy remained seemingly distant from Justin's life. A glimpse into the past reveals that in 2006, Misa sought child support from Diddy, a move met with resistance as Diddy appealed in court, refusing financial responsibility for Justin. The details surrounding when Justin began residing with Diddy remain a bit murky. What is apparent, however, is that Diddy's involvement in Justin's life appeared limited, especially while Wolf was still alive. Beyond the familial intricacies, fans can't help but notice the striking resemblance between Justin and Wolf, prompting whispers of a deeper connection. Gene Deal, Sean Combs' former bodyguard, also addressed allegations of Justin being Jones's son, not Diddy's. However, he avoided getting into the details by saying he wasn't there. During an interview with Storm Monroe a year ago, Gene said, he added, "If Sean Combs like it, I love it. It's people said that Justin looks like Wolf, but I wasn't there." Now, it's not clear exactly when Justin started living with Diddy. However, Diddy allegedly wanted nothing to do with Justin while Wolf was still alive. What's also interesting is that Misa herself has seemingly dropped hints about Diddy not being Justin's real dad. Back in June 2023, Justin was arrested and charged with DUI. However, there were some reports claiming it was actually Diddy driving, and he allegedly made Justin take the blame. That's when Misa took to Instagram to blast Diddy, saying, Everyone has to sit around for years and act like there isn't anything wrong with you. This is where the buck stops for me. Misa then referenced Diddy's children, saying the statement, "A fish rots from the head down," means that in addition to being a major contributing factor in a family or organization's success, leadership is also the root cause of its failure and demise. The truth shall set you free, and all the children I love, a come to Jesus moment. Misa also shared a photo of a lioness with her cub and wrote, "It's up if anything ever happened to my son, God forbid. What is anyone going to say to me when we all know whose fault it would be?" Finally, Misa added, "I should have kept my child with me. F that. Everybody can get it." However, it sadly looks like it might be too late for Justin to get away from Diddy. Back in February, producer Lil Rod dropped a lawsuit against Diddy, naming Justin as one of the co-defendants. He claimed that Diddy and Justin were involved in a 2022 shooting of a man at Chalice Recording Studio in LA. Now, some fans are still hoping that Justin might break free by speaking out against Diddy and cooperating with the feds, but not everyone is so optimistic. Some argue it's too late for Justin because he lived under Diddy's influence for most of his life, and Diddy most likely already shaped the way Justin thinks. All in all, Wolf's death sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world. It marked a turning point, exposing the dark undercurrents of loyalty, betrayal, and the lengths some would go to protect their secrets. For BMF, it was a message. For Diddy, it was a clean slate, or so he thought. Today, questions still linger. Was Wolf's death just the result of a beef gone wrong, or was he sacrificed to keep dangerous secrets buried? For Diddy, Wolf's loss was both a personal and professional hit. His long shadow looms over Diddy's legacy, a ghost who may have known too much. In a world where secrets can make or break careers, Anthony Wolf Jones became yet another name lost to power and betrayal. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.